Originally, I'm from a small town, and I was raised to believe that I shouldn't have sexual feelings, that those are only feelings that men have. I was taught that my purpose in life was to serve my husband and my family. I lived a sheltered life, and I left a home that was dominated by men to marry at 16 into a family, into a home that was dominated by another, much older man. I was taught that I should take insults and mistreatments, and that it was a woman's role to be a martyr. I believed that my role in life was to serve my husband. Shortly after I was married to my husband, we left my hometown. He was away often, and I ended up with 4 children by the age of 27. My husband wasn't willing to use condoms or let me use birth control pills. Because I had been infected sexually, sex needed to have a different meaning for me in the future. I needed to know about sex and what it meant to me. In my culture, it's bad for a woman to even consider enjoying having sex. It had been almost 3 years since my diagnosis that I finally met a man I was comfortable with. But he was HIV negative. The fear crept in about how I was going to tell him that I was HIV positive. I'd continuously rehearsed in my mind how I was going to tell him and what I was going to tell him. I jokingly thought, how bad can this man be? After all, he'd accepted the fact that I was a single mother with 4 children. Surely he can accept a tiny virus. It was a difficult and needed conversation, and I let go of many tears. He asked some questions and also let go of some tears. And then he left without letting me know whether he was going to come back. But then he turned up at my doorstep a few days later and said he didn't mind that tiny little virus. I know how difficult it was for him to make that decision. It was for me too. Until then, I believed because I was living with HIV, I had to have a partner who also had HIV. It's been a year since we met, and although we're not living together, I see him almost every day. We enjoy our sex life, and we're very careful to engage in healthy and safe sex. He has been completely the opposite from what I expected a man to be. He's aware of my needs, both sexual and emotional. And I've learned that I didn't need to limit myself to the men from my support group. That love, sex, and sexuality can all happen, but not necessarily in that order.